Informative audience participation, light-hearted show with lots and lots of Cayman jokes, culture, and guests. As we talk about things we say and do, it happening every third Friday on Talk Today.
Wha Ah Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today, jointly produced by the National Museum and Radio Cayman, a language, history, and culture show. Remember, it's every third Friday on 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
See Wha Ah Sayin begins right now.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And that laughing voice next to me.
Maybe. We'll see how it go.
Is none other than the good spirit of Mr.
Good
Ray
spirit.
Blanca. Ray, what's up?
Boy, I don't know now. We're going to have to see.
All right. Well, to our listeners, we do have schedule, our monthly See What I'm Saying, and if you heard the ads and if you just joined us, we're going to be talking about one of our national heroes, Honorable T.W. Farrington.
Mm-hmm.
We had as one of our guests, or as our main guest, Mr.
Steve McPhail.
Steve McPhail, resident
Wealth of
historian. Unfortunately, as we've been affectionately calling, Dr. Steve has been called away to court. As you know, he's telling you he's pushing 100. Thank God for his health. He's still very much active before
Yeah, I
the
think
bench.
I'm pushing 100 too.
Yeah. And so he's not going to be able to join us. We structured the program. We're very grateful to the National Archive for giving us seemingly unfeathered access to most things. Not true at all. They're phenomenal though, and they really help us. So
yes,
we have,
they're definitely.
no, all jokes aside,
There for us.
they're amazing. I mean, they have good stuff. So we have everything, but the challenge is, without the presence of Dr. Steve, it makes it a little bit difficult. So we'll do some previews
We
of what
won't
we
do
had.
it justice. I mean, we had, this is one of the topics that we had. I mean, there's a little bit of research you can do for it, but we really wanted the details of sort of person of first-hand knowledge.
Okay.
And Mr. Steve was that. So we're going to have an abbreviated Mr. Willie.
All right. And for those of you who are joining us and heard the ad, no, we don't have Mr. Will in the studio.
It would be good. Right now, it would be good.
And then secondly, as you're listening, could we invite you to, as you do, but even do so more so now,
People can
call
help us.
and
Yeah.
share so that we can even flesh out more material, and certainly not just for this particular topic, but for other topics. And Ray, I'll start off at first. You guide me and ask our listeners, and I think unfortunately it's probably the same almost everywhere. Unless a people, and normally a person, sometimes there may be a group or an organization, whether they're set up for that purpose, some sort of trust or non-governmental, some sort of charity, some sort of non-profit or the like, or if it's just a group of people who have a common interest, loosely organized. Unless, and in the absence of something like that, people in a country don't always take a full sort of cognizance of its history and even its contemporary.
Especially a culture that's oral history based.
Right.
So it's more stories passed down, and if a person or a family decides, that's not important, or that happened, that you should know that already, or things like
exactly.
that. If they make a point of it, if it's not like a structured thing, or it's deep in your tradition.
Well, here is why
it gets lost.
Yeah, why I was thinking this, and why I would like to share this, not just for your guidance, but with respect to you, seriously for those listening, in that some of this information is still within the memory of our parents and grandparents. It's still with us. Some of the information is actually recorded that we have at the archive, maybe through publications, whether it's Hansard's, whether it's newspapers and the
I
like.
kind of do the oral history, the written history, and then other.
Right. And this other, in looking at this, there are things that you knew, things you thought you knew, and things that you realize, I forgot that.
The topic the point that we were trying to figure out was the Willa Farrington Road.
Okay.
When did that open? I think you said, 80?
I was trying to think back when it was, and I was saying 80. ish, right?
You got the ish now.
Yeah.
He marked it by Orca the mover, Orca. Now I don't know which was Orca 2 or Orca 3. Could it have been 3?
Orca 1.
Orca 1, where's just Orca?
I remember, and I'll tell you the story and that maybe. But for those who are listening, we want you to call and share.
Orca.
And then secondly,
Mr. Willie and Orca.
right?
What I got marked by is them bus rides. Because I think I just started high school then.
Yeah.
Them bus rides and that S-turn. That will find an S-turn where my bunker cheeks had a hold on tight to the bus that we're going to fall off.
Can you say that on the radio?
I think so. We did Conk Bubba and we did Carcass or Bunker. Yeah, we did Bunker already.
Yeah. Susan, is it okay for him to say Bunker Cheeks in the studio? She said no.
She hit her head again.
Yeah, you can't say
You're going to get brain damage by the time this thing is finished.
So for those who are listening, trying to understand some of these things and to see what is there. But the second thing, Ray, that was striking is that some of the as you come across the information you're looking for, maybe if it's a newspaper article, for instance, or maybe it's in one of the necessarily a folio in that strict sense, but
you got me too organized.
Yeah,
folio.
Near the information, there's something else that transpired that strikes you.
Yeah, and that's the problem with going to the archive and you look at Compass or Northwestern magazines and stuff. You photocopy something and then the page before that or after that you start going off, and so a while pass and then you'd be like, oh, Mr. Willie.
And I found out with this one that there are things that
we have a what he's talking about, what he's saying is we've provided him with a compass. It's actually a Caymanian compass. So that's also another. You missed that part? Caymanian compass.
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay. And this was May 17th, 1978. And this would probably just been a parrot cage liner for us at that point. Huh?
Come on, wild pirates.
Or the puppy or one of them things, something like that. That's all we would have known this for. But why we have that is it was the date or the day that you had Mr. Willie's eulogy, or what do you call it? Obituary in the paper. So that's why we have it. So because of this abbreviated show now, we're not going to share all of that information that we had with you. But what we're going to say is at that time, Wednesday, May 17th, 78, we had a Mr. Christian. Well, I forget, he was a World War II veteran. And he was shot at, apparently shot upstairs at A.L. Thompson building.
The third floor.
Third floor. And it was in or outside Mr. Jim Bodden's office, I think. Right?
Yeah, presumably. Yeah.
I think that's what they're saying. It's all kind of, you got to read between kind of lines and stuff. So it was a Mr. Christian. And I'm not sure in this paper whether he survived or what. But all of that stuff. So this is the problem or let's phrase that better. Not a problem, but this is one of the, that's a language show.
Yeah.
You can go on. I can come up with it.
Okay.
This is one of the hidden gems of doing research, like the tangents we go off on when we're doing it.
And so with that in mind, we're asking you because as we...
well, for one, we're asking about when the date of the radio. Anybody know about lands and survey of roads, anything, or worked on it themselves, or... They always listen to the show but never call in. Yeah. You remember you get all them too?
Yeah.
You get them?
And the other thing too, the actual opening of the road. If you look at the road now, you think it's insignificant. But then it was my recollection and asking some of the older people who were then, say my age or so, that was a big accomplishment. That was a significant thing.
And we thought it was a sort of existing path, wasn't it?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, because you got Elizabeth Street that went into it. And you can tell by the orientation of some of the old houses that it was at least. So
you're looking at in 4 decades, what was a fairly important road for the district. Excuse me. And now, that's okay, Susan, thanks. And now, looking at that road just being almost by some, no pun intended, bypassed. See what I did there?
Oh.
Ooh, impressive. and for those who are listening and recognizing, what do you recall about that? And equally,
help us out with that. What's the date on that? I think it's like 79. 80.
80. 80.
80?
80. Let's take bets. I mean, I could find it easily, but I didn't.
I remember I didn't feel like I had a need to take that road. I don't know.
Well,
Well, because
no.
I was not Mount Pleasant, I would just bypass it. Just
All
like
right. So
how
949
bypass
80
Mount Pleasant all the time.
37, 949 80 37, or 949 6990. Likewise, toll free at 1 800 534 8255. And you can WhatsApp 925 3261.
Do you know that I can't remember any of those numbers?
Sadly, I repeat on my sleep.
Oh,
That's
I want to hear that.
Someone asked me what my number was, and for a second I thought. So when I said, "Oh, that's a lot." Anyway, 1 800 534 8255. You see, Susan, and mischievousness in her eyes. Boy, did you hear that? Okay, so we want you to do two things: share with us your recollection of certain things, but equally, as we look at what is Cayman and what is the importance of it, our history and heritage, and without question, the jovialness of our people. Some of our people.
Some.
Yeah. I mean, there are some sour faces, but
Some
most,
faces, everything.
most of us.
Some. Am I not correct with that? Yeah, we like to joke, but then there's some people that like there's no joke.
No joke.
No joke. Pure sour. Pass across the fridge and your milk go bad.
Okay, hold on a minute.
You got
Susan,
WhatsApp.
Yeah, Susan now.
Susan, WhatsApp in there?
Okay, so to our listeners, thank you very much for sharing with us.
And bearing with us.
And today's topic was to have been focusing on
Willie
Honorable
Farrington,
T.W. Willie Farrington
father
with
of the
the
house.
sort of counsel of Mr. Steve McFeel. But given his obligations to the court as a practicing attorney, he had to attend to those matters. So we didn't want to be disrespectful and believing that we will not do the show sufficient justice,
The justice of it, yeah.
without the sort of contemporary commentary of Mr. Steve to supplement the other stuff that we have, because they're little questions and he can give his anecdotes and the like. So
he was to fill in the flesh. He was to flesh in some of the questions that we had, like the real story. You get the headlines and you get a little bit of the details or the between the lines. He would be the one to tell us
right
the real stuff,
and without messing it up too much. We want to make sure.
I wouldn't.
I would put it that way. So we're going to have the show, but we want to get from you a number of things that are perhaps forgotten, perhaps not given the same level of credit and importance in Cayman. And Ray, I had a number of people who were saying even things like the names of places, roads, not only that they're being renamed, but in some cases, people not remembering that they were once called that,
or the meaning of them,
or
the significance of them.
Why is it that way?
Why people took the time to name it?
And unfortunately, that's not something that I have at my regular recall.
No.
I don't know that I can quickly
Plus, at your
access
height,
it.
you probably can't read most of the signs.
I can't touch on. I
you
know.
Can't see. You definitely can't.
But that's why Susan gives me a step ladder so I can take it with me. All right, so we pause quickly, take the break. The phone lines are available and open, and we're gonna have some
you can even
chances
come in.
with you.
You can even come in.
No.
Oh, we've had that. No, we don't want that. We had that. We don't. Yes, a couple of times.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Summertime is when Cayman Airways full of people are travel to Jamaica. If you're late for checking your flight, you will lose your seat. Remember now, check-in time for Cayman Airways flight is 2 hours before departure. Make sure you're not late.
If your business is over here, but your customers are over here, adding more yellow to your business will bring you both right here. With everyone searching yellows, print, online, and a mobile app, getting your business noticed is easier than ever. Book your consultation today at findyellow.com.
The 8:12 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center. Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center is your one-stop shop for all of your sewing and alterations, fabrics, household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations. Call Super Stitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky. Super Stitch, located 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road, still offering the best prices in town.
The Breeze Fusion is back Saturday, November 2nd.
Bigger and better.
Now featuring a 5K walk run and a 10K run for half marathon trainers. Join the fun and help raise funds for the Central Scranton Park and the NCVO. Save the date or register now at CaymanActive.com or at Radio Cayman Studios. Registration is only $15 if registered by September 30th. And all early registrants enter to win a Cayman Airways voucher.
The Breeze Fusion 5K, 10K walk run.
Saturday, November 2nd.
The Premier and MLA for Red Bay, the Honorable Alden McLaughlin, and Prospect MLA, Mr. Austin Harris, would like to invite the Red Bay and Prospect communities to a joint constituency meeting on Tuesday, July 23rd at 7 p.m. at the Seafarers Hall on Victory Avenue. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning, and Infrastructure will give a presentation on the proposed road improvements for the Red Bay and Prospect areas. Following, national and constituency issues will also be discussed. Light refreshments will be served.
See Wha Ah Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. See Wha Ah Sayin?
Good afternoon.
Mr. Willard, how about this? Mr. Willa Farrington Drive Detour.
All right. There you go. Ray Bianco tells us exactly what is happening. So we're inviting you to share with us immediately, deliberately, and directly on all of the issues that we think are important to promoting, preserving, and celebrating the Cayman.
You know what I was trying to do? I was trying to remember all the topics of the stuff that we had over the years. I can't remember when we started.
We go back to our sort of bibliography.
Our archive?
Our archive. That Joel and Paul.
Good luck. Dynamite and leaf blowing.
All right. See, Susan remembers them, right? So for you guys, let's in absence of our guests, let's make sure that we give just a brief outline of some of the very interesting things that Mr. Willie.
But Mr. Varner?
Yeah.
Mr. The father of the house?
Yeah.
Right now, be the grandfather.
But I'll be honest with you, I'm drawn by this issue in the paper with the
the political. I told you that's just one page. You imagine there's like thousands of pages when you go to archive, and they leave me alone with it. Now this is 78 now, and this is when you got telephone numbers. Like check this telephone number. If you want to call a compass, you had to dial 95111. So 5 numbers. You remember them days?
Yep.
The pre-94.
But do you remember the days of those 3 numbers?
3 numbers.
Yeah. I always thought there were only 3 numbers.
Anyway.
Or was it the written 3 numbers because the first 2 identified the district? How was that?
I don't. So 949 was, I think, West Bay Town, and then 947.
But that was after they introduced the 7.
948. No, I think that they were existing. It was 94, and then the 5-digit number. So come up from Cable Wireless would tell us. 7 or 8 was a BRAC.
You sure? It was 8.
You're messing with me. Today, not today, mess with my head today.
Okay, so tell us a little.
So we're doing Willa Farrington Detour.
All right, there you go.
And we need somebody to find out when the road was open. Come in, doing our bet going and about to win some turtle meat.
Yeah, we'll see.
I say it's 79.
All right.
All right.
80. So you want me to say 82?
You had said before 81.
81, okay, so 81.
But then you could be legal and say, well, I said Orca, and Orca was 1977, so you could win that way. Well, that's what I would do.
All right. Now, 949-8037, 949-6990.
And through the power of radio, what was that? Through the power of radio and WhatsApp, we found out that Mr. Christian survived.
Right. Yes.
The shooting.
The shooting. Yes. And that was 1978. That was not long ago.
Can we ask him about what the real story behind it was?
I don't see why not. They might tell us, but we can ask. Okay, let's hear.
So we're looking for why Mr. Christian was shot. You can do the official version.
And he was a candidate, right? In
Well,
the 76
look at this
election.
guy. He was a veteran of World War II.
Right.
All that stuff was
And
in there.
also a candidate in the...
Yeah, a former candidate in 76.
And that was a very interesting time politically in the country as well, from what we hear. For if you read Mr. Roy Borden's books and some of his...
Which I haven't got yet. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's amazing. An amazing read.
And Mr. Steve's supposed to get me a copy, he said. So.
Well, you can go to the author in the publishing house and buy a copy. Just... I won't say that.
Hello, Mr. Steve said he was.
Mr. Steve's not here now.
Give me a copy.
So Ray, with this now,
Sir Dwayne, Sterling Dwayne. Which one you prefer, Sterling or Dwayne? You know, both are tarnished, and so. But which one? I only know you as Dwayne.
You know, you set me up. I gotta leave this one alone.
Go on.
I won't answer. All right, but he was born at when you think of this is 2019
with Mr. Willie?
Mr. Willie,
mm-hmm.
Right? And you look to the sort of movement of our grandparents, and some of us, our grandparents are born in the 1800s, some are early 1900s, for instance. Some of us, of course, the grandparents were born in the 70s, maybe earlier, but 1900 was really his, and the reason why I say that to you, I was looking at something some years ago and talked about people who were born in different, years. And
well, that was World War One period. He would have been serving or been able to serve in World War One.
Right.
So,
and what that meant for sort of the success, and if there was a correlation between what period in history you were born. And
like you got the baby boomers, the X generation. So I think we are. Then you got what they call them now? Millennials.
Yeah. And how does that drive your psyche? How does that?
It definitely affects you. I mean, if you were born in the depression era, the 30s, 20s, and 30s, that's still affecting me now. Having parents born in that age, so it's definite.
All right, so, but as we look at the idea of...
Just like, I guess, Caymanians born after 70.
Yeah. And the reason why I suggest that to you is that if we look at Cayman today, and we look at our political landscape from the early days of, say, the vestry to now, we look at some of the people that were participants, people who influence not just the social or the political, but the economic agendas as they were, and we think of maybe their not just their contribution, their period of service and the like, and then we look today and we ask ourselves, well, to what extent we have truly moved the country forward, and
forward or backward,
right?
You look at it
exactly, and then when we think of where some of the things that are being lost, some of the things that are being glossed over, some of the things that perhaps...
I mean, obviously financial, and that was one part that Mr. Willer was actually important part in that, the financial. I mean, a lot of people say the difference between us and Jamaica was the independence.
Yeah. How long was Mr. Willie serving in totality?
55 years.
55 years. Right.
So he last served in 76.
Now you think about that.
So he was there when they were Jamaica was being independent, and when we had to decide.
And then when we look at some of the, I guess, the political history, as it were, people like Mr. Orman and the decisions, the discussions that were being had, and to understand that some of that now, probably because of the celebrations that we're having, are they being reinterpreted and redefined? If so, is that deliberate and malicious? Is it because we're ill-informed? Are we trying to
big topics for my head?
Well, that's why Mr. Steve was to be here. And Marie, I think I've seen.
Are they being appreciated or reinterpreted?
Right. Let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
very thankful and highly blessed. And you all is doing something, but I'm not going around it.
We're going around Willa Farrington Drive. We're just turning every little corner, coming back. We're going round and going round.
I can tell you where they're going to end up now.
Okay.
You know, out on the waterfront where you got Miller Road?
Malahide
Road?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Do you all remember or know where Mr. William Farrington's first shop was?
His first shop?
Yes.
Well, I know where his shop was supposed to be, right there in the four-way stop.
No, that's the second shop.
Oh, see? I didn't know the first one.
The first one was right there. You see that big vacant spot there by the church? By Miller.
Well, you got two? Do you have two?
No, you mean...
You're talking about one right there, right next to it.
Right.
The one right next to the church.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's true.
That's where the first shop were.
Okay.
It was there, huh?
And it was at lumber.
So
Yeah.
what happened to that one?
I don't remember where it was burned down or where it just got rotten down. But I kind of believe it was a burned business not on there. But now that used to have... Listen to me. The reason why I say on that vacant lot there is because you see where the big grape tree is that is behind the church?
Right.
I got family members that buried right there.
Oh, right. There's a grave, at least one grave or two?
Two or three, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Right there, the grave, so they couldn't go no further down.
Yeah.
Yeah? But now, this old shop used to be, just long before you even had the other road there going toward the four-way, you know. But it was only using the Miller Road.
The little Bogasan continuation.
You would not want to go up to the Captain Mac shop, Captain Magnifying shop, and then you kept on the Mr. Prentice, the museum business and all that kind of stuff there. But you had to turn off now by the gas station. Because you can remember Captain Mac had the Farrington too, you know. He had the jukebox business going on down there.
The what?
Jukebox.
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 Matinee jukebox.
Yeah, okay.
But there's a house of fun out there.
So I wonder if that first shop was for his father then? He was also
No.
Willa Farrington.
No, I didn't. I think they were. They had to be cousins or something like that. You know.
I think.
They wasn't brothers. I don't believe they were brothers.
No, is that where they call it Cop Hall? Or that was
No,
different?
Cop Hall is where the Heritage Square is there.
Yeah, by the four. Yeah, by
across from the gas station.
by the gas station. With
Yeah,
the big
one
grape tree.
corner of the four-way.
That was the Cop Hall,
Right.
and that had turned into all kinds of stuff. And Mr. Butter used to have a popcorn place there, where he used to have the as a theater.
Mm-hmm.
And then went from there. No, it was sold then.
To Mr. Henry?
No,
No?
it was sold then to. It was at the. I think it was Mr. Benson. His brother Graham had took it over for a theater.
Yeah, and there was was it by right there?
Yeah, but that was after, I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
After all of that, and look, it used to have the real hall, you call it Cop Hall. You never had no roof in them. Because the other part now, it was with the movies, right? You had the chairs and the little upstairs thing, and we had the
Is that
and all that.
Can you still see the foundation there? Isn't that in the parking lot? Part of it?
Cement, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And
So,
that area was called Big West Bay. Do you remember it calling that? Being named that?
Big West Bay.
Big West Bay, yeah. That's what
Yeah,
my father.
I
I think my
think so.
father still calls it that.
Yeah, the Big West Bay. Yeah, so let's get back about the Mr. Willa Farrington shop. That's where they used to have all the brown sugar. I mean, the coaster, I don't know what. They used to have all the different bales built inside it there. And Mr. Freddy's shop had the same thing too. Nowadays you get the sugar in the sacks, into the crooked sacks, right? So you just put the sacks down inside of these bales that used to have made a cover for it and everything. So you just use a scoop then take out the brown sugar out of there, and then there was the flour. Now you just keep them and keep the flour in the go. I have a gold medal flour sack that was on my aunt Eloise side. So now that cloth flour, exactly what we call it now, what is to keep the flour in. They wouldn't put it down in the bale itself. They would just keep it, those things was kept in sacks. Down to the rice and all of them things, like I was kept in the sack.
And so when you took it home, how did they give it to you? Like in a little, was it in a little brown paper package?
Brown paper bag.
Tied up?
Yeah. You tie it up with a piece of twine. And
I still remember that. I think Miss Chi-Chi shop and
Miss Izzy used to use a cotton twine, a cotton line. Cotton line and tie it up in a.
And so neat and everything too.
Beautiful slip knot you put it over them in. And if you get it this piece, if you were to get this little hole and them things, but then get hole, you get a good ass. Oh, Susan, I'm sorry, Susan. I'm sorry.
You must have saw her.
You can. She says it's okay to use bunkie if you get a good bunkie. I don't know how you can work that in.
You can't work that.
Can't work it in.
Not a scene thing.
No, sorry. I take that back.
Ask it in the Bible, you know.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Yes, ma'am.
So we got another caller.
All right.
Or are we breaking?
The caller? Oh, thank you, Mom. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. So, Miss Susan, we've got the call after the break. To the caller.
Please stay with us.
Come to you.
When you need stability, think Business of the Year.
Considering a new career opportunity, think Best Place to Work.
When dependability matters, think Outstanding Workforce.
In need of a reliable financial partner, think Bank of the Year.
When you seek excellence, think Cayman National.
No matter how many accomplishments we achieve, we always set the bar higher. That's why we are the most awarded bank in Cayman, and we are proud to be your
2018 Bank of the Year.
I just love the warm ocean air.
Yeah? Your car doesn't.
What you mean?
Looks like salt air is eating your bump alive.
Stop rust before it starts with Z-Bot Rust Protection from Vant Motors. The extreme heat, salt spray, and wet tropical weather can damage your vehicle and greatly decrease its value. But Z-Bot's patented formula protects your car's metal seams, joints, and other hidden areas. There's no better rust protection out there than Z-Bot. So book today and keep the rust away. Call or visit Vant Motors Body Shop on Walker's Road. Your only authorized Z-Bot service in Cayman is now available at Vant Motors. King Sports Center Art of Fun Summer Camp is back from July 2nd to August 2nd. Now in its 15th year, the Art of Fun Camp is ideal for kids ages 5 through 10 with activities from football, basketball, dodgeball, squash, rock climbing, arts and craft, dance, singing, and more. Your child can practice physical and social skills while having fun in a safe and secure environment. For more info, call 946-KING. Like King's Sports Center on Facebook, and you can also find them on Instagram or call 946-5464. King Sports Center, providing you with all your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs. Register before May 31st and save 10% on camp registration. What do we love more than summertime? Extra flights between Cayman and Jamaica with Cayman Airways, of course. Cayman Airways has added extra flights weekly for travel between Grand Cayman and Kingston this July and August. Visit family and friends in Jamaica or send for them to visit you in Cayman. But hurry, these extra seats will sell out fast, so book yours today. Remember now, check-in time is 2 hours before departure. Call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or book online at CaymanAirways.com.
Cayman is going to Carfesta 2019 this summer. Get a sneak peek preview of all performances we'll be doing in Trinidad. 2 weekends only at the Hartwell Theatre. Music and dance shows on Saturday the 20th of July and Sunday the 21st of July. The touching play, Downside Up, written by Frank McPhail on Saturday, July 27th and Sunday, July 28th. Tickets are just $25 per person per show. Purchase at Foster's Airport and Strand, Funky Tangs, Healthcare Pharmacy Grand Harbor, the CNCF office, and online at eventpro.ky.
Hey Cayman, this is Caitlin Tyson, your Miss Cayman Islands Universe 2018. It's that time again, so come out and meet your favorite contestants at this year's sashing ceremony. Each of the ladies will have the chance to connect with you and share their personal stories featuring their sponsors. Friday, the 26th, starting at 6:30 p.m. at Grand Old House. Admission is free. We'll be unveiling all of this year's sponsors for the 2019 Miss Cayman Islands Universe contestants. Mix, mingle, and show your support for your district. We hope to see you there.
How would you describe Wha Ah Sayin?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
Wha Ah Sayin?
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And as we were inviting you very much
Thank you for staying with us.
participate with us, because we're looking at a couple of things, using you increasingly to help us not only to disseminate, but also to be able to acquire much more insight into our history, our heritage, and our culture. And as we will feature some of the information on, as we call him, Captain Willie, in the absence of Mr. Steve McPhail, who has been called away to the courts, we're not going to do it justice and in its entirety.
We're not going to do all about Mr. Willie today.
Right. So we're going to talk about other things. But let's go to our phones. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Haha, there you are. How are you?
Good afternoon, Ray.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to tell you where Mr. Willie old shop is.
You go ahead, you tell us.
Okay, it's right in, okay, see where, you know where my house is, you know where my parents' house is.
But I know, but I mean, I don't know if Susan knows.
Okay, now I can tell you exactly where it is. Where my mom and dad's house is, and then it's another house on the side that belongs to my sister.
But hang on now, your mom and daddy, but your brother's there too? I mean, just your mom and daddy?
No, it belongs to my mom and my daddy.
Okay, just checking.
Okay, this house, look how they built it. We never built it, we just gained it.
Are we supposed to know who it is?
Okay, I don't know. Oh, God, this house is so old, I wouldn't even know who built this. Okay. In the back of my sister Mello's house and her apartment, Mr. Willing's shop was there, and it was called the Back Road, not Morgasan Road, the Back Road. That back road, where you would come from Old Bush, you would cross Mr. Lewin's shop and come down to where she was talking about the graveyard. After the graveyard, the place where you see block off, it wasn't exactly in front. It was more to the seaside, right to the seaside, like how the church is, but it was further back. It was in the back of my sister Mello's house.
So just so the people that are listening, we're talking about West Bay four-way stop to like where Al Kebab restaurant is, right?
Right, Alfredo, Alfresco.
Sorry, Alfresco. I just gave.
Yes, and then like what she was saying, all the shops was on that road, the back road. Then you go up to Cap Mark shop where the jukebox was a library there too.
Oh. You could do a
but
whole
you didn't
show
know that.
That one spot.
And then when you hear calling about the where you all were talking whereby, right, was it was a court thing there. My father used to have that with them. It was a theater there. And it was a court. And it was people, Benson, Mr. Burden, my dad, and the crowd of one. And then I don't know what happened to that, because I'm still young to that. But that is where the stop is. That's where the shop were. And I think somebody came there one Sunday, and they asked me what it was, and I think the step is still there. I see pieces of cement there. I went around the back and look. But that's exactly where it was, and the boats used to come shore there, I think for customs and stuff. But you know who you want to know about everything? You ask Esme.
Right.
Esme got a history book like Steve and them. I don't. I have a fashion book.
Yeah. But as I listen to you, right, and this is one of the reasons, as Ray and I were looking at this show, and even though he has, and I say he because I if Ray doesn't mind, I credited him significantly with helping to, I guess, to curate the shows as it is. You know, he's the master. And when we look at something, we can see other things come into light. But just the opportunity that presented itself today, as you were sharing, there's so much that we've lost and that we're losing. Even when people have reported when were their birthdays, you know, were they born in 1871, were they born in 1873? It may not seem significant, but it is if we don't have accurate, you know.
Here, this by right shop was round there, but where Centennial Towers are, do you remember? It was a shop there. I think it was called the Nook. When Mr. Berta had a little shop there,
yeah,
he used to sell popsicles and all of that.
It was like 3 little shops in one, right? One little block.
Right, and then it was Mr. Arthur's shop. That's Betty's and them father's shop. Then it was Clive's shop. Then that where Mr. Willis' second shop was. Remember, they used to wrap a piece of thing around there, and Thomas and them used to have movies on a Saturday night. I can remember that. But if you want to know the real history and the truth, you got to seek Esme. She can tell you about the customs when they used to come board there and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's much older than me, so she'll remember those things. But that's where the shop was in the back of our house, and I think a piece of step is still there.
Yep.
Because I think it was Simon. Something came there one Sunday, and me and him was looking at it.
Not Sam Winchester.
I don't know. Names I can't remember. I can tell you why I tell my grandson. I don't know names. The only thing I remember is dollars.
Oh, can you help us? Do you know when the road was open? Mr. Willis, Farrington Road open?
No, you ask Esme that because she lives up there. I tell you I tell her who I must get a history from.
Yeah, but I thought I could collect my money now, do you see?
No, we'll call her. We'll get her. How about that?
You call Esme and you ask Esme because Esme lived there, and Esme, like Steve, they got history book written on me.
Oh, you got dollar book.
That's where the shop was, and the grave is there. And actually, I think it was 2 graves around there. I don't know where the other one went to.
They walked away.
But was that like
a... walked away, or they put something over it, but it was a grave there, and we used to get up, and because them days it was dark, and say, "Whoa, look at Jim Sterling!" Everybody would run. I remember that, but the shop is in the back.
Did you say look at Sterling? Because that would make people run.
She didn't say that.
I never said Sterling. You see, the customs would come there, and that's where the sugar and all the flour sacks and chicken feed sacks. We used to make jackets for the chicken feed sack, and you might not believe it. We used to make parties out of chicken feed sack.
I think Dwayne remembers that, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, we used to do a lot of stuff, jackets. Used to make baby bathing out of the flour sacks and all of that, you know, and that's where we used to get them from. Those shop, Mr. Pinner's shop was just up the road. This is what you call Big West Bay.
Yeah.
And this is where they used to say, I guess this road in my ways, from some of my people, you know, you come from that part of West Bay, where all the proud people go up in the white people.
Right.
I said, no, I'm not proud and white. But that you call Esme. Esme will be able to tell you guys more, but that's where the first shop was.
All right, we'll do that.
I think, yeah. Okay, bye.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
Thanks very much, Mom. And we got the news up, and then we have a caller. What do we do, Miss Susan? You the boss? Go to the phone? Let's go to the phones. Good afternoon, welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Listened to a bunch of talking, some history stuff back there, so I thought I'd throw in a couple of things.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
By the way, the chicken feed socks, a lot of people used to make clothes out of them. They used to, when they saw people with them on, they used to make fun of them, call them coo, 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 coo. They were calling chickens. Anyway, there used to be a little wooden building in the northeast corner of the church property where the Church of God is now, Church of God Full Gospel Hall.
Yes, sir. In West Bay.
If I'm not mistaken, that all that property was belonged to Mr. Willie Farrington. The first church that we had in West Bay was down on Northwest Point Road, right next to Captain Ortis's house.
Oh.
Yeah. It was an old wooden building. It was right out by the edge of the road. You stepped out of the building, you were in the road almost. And that piece of property was sold. My uncle did an exchange for the piece where the church is built on now. But there used to be a little building there. I think it might have been a store in the earlier days. I think it was used as a meat market.
Was it that one?
At one before it was, I would say, toward the ending of it. I believe it was Mr. What's his name was Markney. I think it might have been him that had that there. Maybe it wasn't Mr. Willie. But I think maybe it was family land. I don't know.
Now, this place you're talking about, is that just where the road turns to go what we call Northwest Point? to work?
Just before you get to the actual lot that's fenced in for the church, as far as I remember, it was right in that corner facing the road.
Oh, I'm thinking all of
Town Hall Road.
Oh, okay.
I know it was a little wooden building there, and that was removed, I guess, when we built the church. But that used to be, I think it was a store, and then later on they used it as a little meat market or something. I think they used to butcher cows right behind there, somewhere there, and maybe under those grape trees or something.
Can you remember, we talked about the graves, can you remember if there were any more graves there? Like, because Some of the other churches, they have them like where the parking lot. They had to relocate them for the parking lot.
Parking lot for who?
I'm saying in some of the other churches, they were like, they had to relocate some of the graves. So I'm just wondering, there's only like one or two that we can sort of recall. Do you know if there was any other ones in that area?
No, I'm not aware of that. And we don't, the church property didn't go past or into the cemetery. It was outside of the church property there. So it is some graves there, yes. I think that's a privately owned property.
But just that little strip?
Yes.
so, yeah.
I think they own a little bit of the seaside as well, the beach side. But the old church doesn't go across the road, Bogasan Road. It's just between Bogasan Road and Town Hall Road, the property. That's fenced. But, anyway, I just sort of, I was thinking that might have been Mr. Willa Farrington's store, but it might have been Mr. Mark Nee Farrington's store might have been. But I was thinking also that the property came from Mr. Willa Farrington. Well, it may have been family land, I'm not sure.
Well, his father was Willa Farrington also, so I don't know.
Yeah, so it maybe that, anyway, it was from that family it came, I can tell you that.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir, for sharing with us and certain things that he called us shared. I want to pick up on. It shows you how one thing can lead to another. All right. When you come back, I'll ask you to join us again.
Radio K-Man.
Radio K-Man's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
I'm April Cummings. New charges for 2 Venezuelan men previously charged with possession of criminal property in connection with an investigation into the movement of gold through the Cayman Islands. Police say the 25 and 26-year-olds have now been charged with engaging in smuggling in relation to the same investigation. A small private plane along with a large quantity of cash was seized in Cayman back in June. 4 foreign nationals were arrested. In international headlines, Iran denies U.S. President Donald Trump's claim that the U.S. destroyed an Iranian drone. Mr. Trump had said a U.S. warship destroyed the drone near the Persian Gulf in an escalation of tensions between the two countries less than a month after Trump nearly launched an airstrike. The Iranian military said all its drones had returned safely to their bases and deny any confrontation with the U.S. vessel the previous day. Mr. Trump said there is no doubt that a drone was destroyed. A Florida sheriff launched an investigation today into whether his department properly monitored wealthy financier Jeffrey Epstein while he was serving a sentence for soliciting prostitution from underage girls. The inquiry will focus on whether deputies assigned to monitor Epstein in a work release program violated any rules or regulations. Under a 2008 plea deal, Epstein was allowed to spend most of his days at the office of his now-defunct Florida Science Foundation, which doled out research grants rather than in the county jail. A strong earthquake has shaken the Greek capital of Athens, knocking out phone networks and power in part to the city. According to the BBC, the 5.1 magnitude earthquake had an epicenter about 14 miles northwest of Athens. People ran out into the streets and evacuated buildings as the tremor shook the capital for some 15 seconds. There were no reports of serious injuries, but several aftershocks have been felt. Those are your headlines. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
When you need stability, think Business of the Year.
Considering a new career opportunity, think Best Place to Work.
When dependability matters, think Outstanding Workforce.
In need of a reliable financial partner, think Bank of the Year.
When you seek excellence, think Cayman National.
No matter how many accomplishments we achieve, we always set the bar higher. That's why we are the most awarded bank in Cayman, and we are proud to be your
2018 Bank of the Year.
RC Fusion, featuring Billboard's pop hit songs and more from the 70s to the 90s.
RC Fusion.
Weekdays from 10 a.m. till 12. RC Fusion.
Brought to you by Nathan General Maintenance and Construction. You break it, they fix it. Call the General for a free quote. 917-7586.
RC Fusion.
How would you describe Wha Ah Sayin?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
Wha Ah Sayin?
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're very, very grateful. And I'm truly, if Ray,
very grateful.
If Ray Banker would allow me to share this publicly, and as some people have shared, one of the callers, well, you need to ask this one because this one knows about this thing and has, a very accurate recollection of certain information.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Ray, you
basically, I won a lot of turtle meat, is what it is.
Yeah. But you, I think, sort of inspires us to, at the very least.
Are you trying to get out of it?
No,
you sound like you're trying to.
No,
what you got? Shoo-shooling?
No.
Sweet mountain?
Shoo-shooing? No, man. No. And shooling,
different. Right, well, you're doing both. You
shooling. No. Shooling is a different term. Who knows what shooling means? We should know what shoo-shoo. I'll give a prize to who understands shooling. But what I was saying is that the fact that a topic as important as the opportunity to speak about Mr. Willie Farrington, and we will do, over the coming months and years, hopefully God's willing, an opportunity to feature not just family names, but particular individuals. And if I can just read, before we go to our phones,
characters.
Right? Read a quick little comment from one of Mr. Willie's grandchildren.
Okay, and then before that, can we establish? I said 7 to 9, 8 at the most.
Right.
And you initially were saying, when you first, I asked you about it way back when, you said 8 at 2, 8 at 1 maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said to you, it was the
Orca, which is 7 to 7. So you like, okay. So you got 7 to 7, and you got 8 at 8.
And you said 2 years, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So this, and I won't identify which grandchild, only because maybe we want to preserve, but I certainly appreciate the interest and people listening and sharing information. We had asked, when was the road open? And
Willie Farrington Drive.
The gentleman, the grandchild, writes and says, he was a very special man and loved his district of Westby as well as the Cayman Islands. Without question, a phenomenal gentleman. I says, if see those two letters. If memory serves me, Willie Farrington Drive opened in 1979. He passed away, we know, in May 1978. And I thank my good friend for sending through that information there to us.
And now he's my good friend.
Now he's Ray's good friend, even more so. So I gotta get Ray a bowl of turtle meat, a plate,
a lot of turtle meat, corn turtle.
Yeah, you can cook it. All right, let's go to our phones.
Actually, since our last show, if you just get me turtle meat, I can get Mr. Alvin to corn it for us. How about that?
Okay. Well, I can get my mom to do it too, but not gonna happen anytime soon.
I've been hearing that for the last 2 years. I could get Alvin to do it. Yeah. No offense to your mama.
Yeah.
Or you, whoever's the culprit.
All right. With the phones, Miss Susan? All right, let's join our callers. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Good afternoon.
Sterling?
Yes, Mom.
Back again.
Oh, thank you again, Mom.
That song would say it's me again.
Well, I tell you what, it was so nice to do it twice.
But it's not Margaret.
No. My Margaret's waiting for me.
No. And it's not... Listen to me.
Yes,
I want to make a few corrections. I may not be in the 80s, but I'm 68.
Oh, there you go.
Okay? I'm proud to say that.
Amen.
I'm so close to 69 that it's almost not funny.
Yes, Mom.
You hearing me?
Yes, Mom.
So listen, I'm from the old school too.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Ray's making me laugh, and I'm...
No, but pay attention to me now, okay?
Yes, Mom.
Pay close attention to me now.
Yes, Mom.
When you talk about on the Big Bay, and I got listen to this.
Okay.
If you live in Boston Bay, if you want to go in the sea, they'll say they were going on the bay. Right? Anywhere else that had a little beach that you're going to, you'll say on the bay. But if you're going out on that other west side over there, you call it west. Going out on the bay.
Right.
Going out on the bay. We're not going to the bay now. We're
on the bay.
On the bay.
On the
okay?
bay,
Yeah. And oh my God, I forgot. Someone was saying things.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Got lost in your bays.
No, listen to them now. I do remember about the shop being Mr. William Farrington's shop because Captain Mike Needs is further up. The road separating him, where the gas station is, the 4-way asphalt. Captain Mike's shop was right there.
Right.
Remember when they had his little shop? Because they took down all the old part and we used to have the jukebox and all that. Because they used to have a lot of fun. I used to go listen to the music on this Saturday night too. With my Aunt Louise, because she could fight it.
Fight?
Serious?
She would drip you up, man, if you carry on budge. Man, you grip and put a pepper over her shoulder. Listen to me. God, make you rest in peace.
Yes, well.
And all the others that's passed on too. Okay. You remember recently? I'm going to say recently, but it's been to quite a while now. The cement place that was there, that was just on Captain Matt's premises, they had fenced that in afterwards, But a little bit below where Captain Matt's shop were, it used to be the same library that Reba talked about, middle of the lumber.
Right.
But then, okay, now, back about Mr. Captain Matt.
Sorry, what years would the library be? Because I hadn't heard that one before.
Jesus Christ, I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, that's all.
I wasn't wrong, but no, Bill. Anyway, yeah, it was a library there. That was the first library in the West Bay.
But can you estimate the years, though?
No.
30s, 40s?
I said I wasn't around them times.
Okay.
I came around in 51. Listen good to me now. You see now, back about what was the concrete smaller building that was Captain Mike Snowden, Magni Farrington. Remember that had turned into a tape club. The 8-track tape club?
Right.
Okay? And that eventually got torn down, and I think that area was sold. I don't know who bought that little area. But anyway, I had said already, but it was on the bay. You call it it was no big bay. On the bay. It was better on the bay, but going outside of there, it was on the bay. All right? So you keep that straight now. Because every other little corner of the West Bay that you go how little the beach people would say are going on the bay. Are going on the bay still. But that bay, that big bay, they call the big bay, but it's called the bay. Going out on the bay. Out on the bay. Well, about the chicken feed sacks, but that made some stuff.
It shows you how people reuse things and what they say, waste not, want not.
Look at, I can even remember what colors of them. It would be this. Right now, I got a heritage, a cultural skirt, a cultural dress. The material is closest thing I could find to a chicken feed sack.
What brand? Can you remember what brand that was, or the brand?
Brand? I can't remember what brand it was for the chicken feed sack. But tell you what, we used to gold medal for flour.
Gold medal, yeah.
And I got one sack that was on my Aunt Louise that wasn't quite bleached out. You can see and read it still. And you know who it was? From Mary and them.
And did some of them have like little patterns, like little flowers and stuff on it?
No, this is the chicken feed sack.
Yeah,
now,
that's...
Let me tell you the colors now. It was green and blue and red and yellow. There were the 4 colors, and each had a little fine flower in it. Are you hearing me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I remember my mama used to sew, but she could sew. Had a singer-foot machine.
Okay.
And them 4 colors, it would take. I remember going, Miss, is a school. Listen good to this now. And that was yesterday. I was under 4 years old. It had yellow. So one sleeve was yellow, the other sleeve was pink. 2 sashes now then, right? Each one of them was a different. One dress had in all 4 colors. You know what I'm saying?
I think I can see it. And you said they were, so each sack was a separate color, and then it had little decorations in it? Or they were all within the one sack?
No. See what happened? Each sack had these 4, each one of the sacks had one of these colors.
Okay.
But it used to be a lot of the one color now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Every color, you had a lot of the sacks.
Yeah. Why I'm asking that because I'm doing a little research on that myself, and I think they were designed. They were like Depression era thing, so they realized the companies realized that people were doing that, making clothes out of them. So they started putting patterns and colors and stuff on it, and then you were able to bleach out your labels and things like that too if they wanted. You could wash them out. So.
No, that was the flour sacks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You used to soap them up with that brown soap. And you had your coconut oil pan with your fireplace built on the ground, and you had your boiling water. You had the water there boiling. When you soak them up, now you would put them down in there, but you would be taking your hand and scorching them. You know what I mean? And you put them down in there. You make them boil and boil and boil. You would call it getting tender, but take another colors. Okay.
Well, people were resourceful, huh? Hey, thank you, Mom. Anything else you want to share?
I know all about all of that. I've been through all that. Like I said, I've been from the old school.
Yeah, too many of us didn't experience that, so gotta respect that. Yes,
so much is being lost.
Right.
Nobody, not tell nobody. And again, for who know still that is around that is still telling, a lot do want to listen.
Who's that?
The Stevens with the silver touch thing there.
Right.
Oh, they wanted everything they see is made. Because no, I make such special stuff. Now, you know me, Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so pretty. But when they come to find the work that goes into that.
True. That's why I can respect it, man.
Look at no more than one day that they could be at it.
You see that?
So much work going into it.
Yeah, boy. It's amazing, Mom. It's amazing. Well, thank you, Mom. I really appreciate it. And now, respectful to our other callers, pause and take a quick break. When we come back, please join us.
Summertime is when Cayman Airways full of people are travel to Jamaica. If you're late for checking your flight, you will lose your seat. Remember now, check-in time for Cayman Airways flight is 2 hours before departure. Make sure you're not late.
Cayman is going to Carfesta 2019 this summer. Get a sneak peek preview of all performances we'll be doing in Trinidad. 2 weekends only at the Hartwell Theatre. Music and dance shows on Saturday the 20th of July and Sunday the 21st of July. The touching play, Downside Up, written by Frank McPhail on Saturday, July 27th and Sunday, July 28th. Tickets are just $25 per person per show. Purchase at Foster's Airport and Strand, Funky Tangs, Healthcare Pharmacy Grand Harbor, the CNCF office, and online at eventpro.ky.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Turning to international news.
Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after.
BritK protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
BritK, where people come first.
Under the distinguished patronage of the Honorary Jamaican Consul, JN Money, in association with Michelle T. and friends, present Jamaica 57th Independence Gospel Fest, Sunday, August 4th at the Lion Center. Celebrate with Sandra Brooks, Prodigal Son, Chosen, Kevin He, Preaching Policeman, Laverne Welcome, Women of Purpose, and Michelle T. Also Roderick Brown, Light of the World Dance Ministry, and many others. Delicious Helsha-style fish and more. Breakfast from 8 a.m., followed by lunch and dinner. $25 pre-sold, $30 at the gate. Tickets at Funky Tangs, Mango Tree, Fix-It Celtronics, Mac Russ, J&M Electronics, Famous Restaurant, Angel Supplies, and JN Money. Sponsors Realwood Cabinets, Superior Auto and Sensual, Fix-It Celtronics, M Creations, Caymanian Times, Hot 104, The Voice, Praise FM, Breeze FM, and Radio Cayman. Jamaica 57th Gospel Fest with Michelle T. and friends. MC Basilia Barnaby Cuff at the Lion Center, Sunday, August 4th at 6 in the evening.
See Wha Ah Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. See Wha Ah Sayin?
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And with good company of Ray Banker, we want to take your calls and highlight a number of things, including the importance of how sometimes what we recall and what may be recorded isn't one and the same. And I'll share with you a couple of comments.
Is that you were trying to get out of this bet?
No,
I done won the bet. It was 7-9.
You won the bet. The road open.
Well,
let's go to our phones. We do that? All right.
Yes.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for sharing.
Good afternoon.
How are you, Mom?
I'm okay, thanks. And Ray, how are you?
Not bad. Good. Thanks for calling. Thanks for holding on.
Yeah, I don't mind that. It's very, very interesting. Ray, I wanted to know if you take
credit cards.
This.
Oh, sorry.
He takes credit cards.
Cash.
Oh, yeah, cash only.
Yeah. Okay. Do you take this to the school?
No, not as yet. No.
Well, for clarity, is it okay if I say this? We're trying. We have had some peculiar challenges with getting mobilized. Let's put it that way, Ray.
Because
former politician.
In the morning of OC show, yours and OC is so interesting, and I think Dr. McField, he suggests that many times, and Miss Lawrence and the rest of them,
right.
they suggest that many times to take it to the schools.
Yeah. Now, for what it's worth, sorry to interject, we had at the very outset, and even up until recently, a number of the educators, the teachers, went and when we spoke with them, they were very receptive. They were willing to do certain things to accommodate. But sometimes the logistics, the bureaucracy, the approvals, the other things, and the hoops you have to jump through sometimes. But we'll get there. Yes.
Hopefully, yes. Because we're losing our culture, you see.
Yeah.
We're losing it.
If you mind, if this rings people's bells and if it causes some people to be a little bit offended, well, tough. No apology for that. The amount of work that Ray puts into this and the insufficient time I think he has allocated to do it justice, it's challenging. If it wasn't for the archives,
I mean, I can just imagine, but for some of us that have experienced some of those things, just like your last caller, Miss Eula, and the caller before that, Miss Reba, we have experienced quite a number of stuff, especially what we used to call Bay Area. That was like, to us, that I live in Northwest Point. To us now, Bay Area, it is just like when Georgetown was Georgetown, not full of offices and banks. Going to Georgetown, going to Bay Area was like, I can use the old word, what a glee we used to get in because we heard, we're going to Bay Area tomorrow, but you had to do certain things at home, whatever your parents or your aunties, because families used to work together in those days. They helped each other because nobody was rich, so we had to to work together and be very, very conservative. Nothing was thrown away like now, and just like Miss Eula say, chicken feed sacks. I wore many skirts from that because my aunt was a seamstress, one of my aunts, and flour sacks was made for many things. Grandmother used to get the flour sacks and bleach them out and double them up and sew them, and sometimes put a little lace around it. No, they were used for towels because those flour sacks, the brown cotton was very, very strong. That's when you bought cloth those days, which Mr. Willa Farrington shop. He had 2 shops, and the one that he used to sell where the MLA out by the four-way stop.
Yes.
Okay. One side of that shop used to be for chicken feed, flour, brown sugar. White sugar was very precious because we made a lot of heavy cakes, and that was made. We know nothing about making it with white sugar. White sugar was only for when special things like weddings, if you're going to use your Radiade to mix your drinks and lemonade and stuff for the reception, that was mixed with white sugar. And then the other side of his shop, he had some ribbon, lace. You know what? You gentlemen know what lace is?
Dwayne. I got sighted, Dwayne. I think he does. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't listen to me.
Lace was put on women clothing and girl socks. When around the top of the socks had lace. Sometimes it could be the cotton lace or the kind of silky lace. And you can still buy those little girl socks that is decorative with that's what you call lace.
So would it be kind of fancying up the chicken feed sock then?
Yeah, man.
Fancying
but
it
we
up.
used the cotton lace. On the other side of Mr.
I think Dwayne might be using. That's what you used to, right, Dwayne? I think Dwayne's.
Yeah. On the other side of Mr. Willie shop by Greggy's gas station by the four-way was Mr. McManee shop. And when we got old enough, like 14 or 15, we had to go with a neighbor or parent or an aunt or a much older sister or brother out there to listen to the jukebox. You better be home by 8 o'clock or you got what you call a flogging. But nobody was abused. You were made to understand that, and that we used to go out there and listen to Jim Reeves, and you know what you call a jukebox? That's a big thing. These days they would call it boombox. Big thing that you had to put in money and then punch A and maybe a number, or B and maybe a number for the songs that was in there, and you could watch the big arm come down and the songs. Now that was a popular place. And then where Heritage Square it used to be a place called Co-op Hall, which
and that's
was
Co-op Hall?
Yeah.
Co-op.
And
not a police station.
The cement is still there.
Yeah.
And that was Mr. Graham and Mr. Benson's and theater. And we used to use shilling, pounds, and pence, and threepence and stuff. And I think for my age, it was at that time, not now. for my age at that time, it used to be 1 and 6 pence to get into these movies, and that was maybe once a month if we behaved ourselves and did our duty at home, like helping around the house and sweeping, and we never had no rakes, so we had to sweep up everything, and you had to pick the stuff out of the gravels and stuff. It was fun to do that because you know that you do that, you learn something, and then you get to go these places. But nowadays, the kids are given $50 and then dropped off at Camana Bay, and they're running around and perhaps end up getting themselves in trouble. That wasn't the way we were brought up, and you had to put what the older people say, a handle to everybody's name, regardless if they were family or you didn't even know them. You still had to, like I said, call them mom, miss, or mister, or even auntie or uncle, because they were the people that helped raise the village. Do you know, Ray, Old Bush, as it was called then, had 2 roads to the Farrington Square. One on the opposite side on the right-hand side of where Captain Curtis lived. And then one further up by where Greggy now lives. And on the other side of Greggy would be Mr. Oren Farrington's house. Behind Greggy's house was my Uncle Elroy's house. Behind his was Charlie Farrington's house. Charlie Farrington Senior. And behind then was Mr. Willie's house. Mr. Willie's house had a big porch. And then Miss Pat, Leonard Ebank's mother, used to also live down in that area as well. Now, down in that area had a lot of mango trees, and real tropical fruits like plums and mango trees and all that. Coming from school, we used to stop there because as usual, it's a season for these kind of things because we live in the tropics. But we were free. They begged us because it was so plentiful. How much mango jam can you make? How much plum jam you could do, and all of that. But I could go on and on, but I know somebody else would want. But I want to let you know that this is a very interesting show, and I hope you'll keep going on. Well,
thank you. No, we will, man. Ray is committed. If I could, if respectful, maybe just ask one quick question of you. One listener, while you were on, had asked us if we could ask of you, would you know or do you recall when Northwest Point Road was open? Just a quick back and forth with the listeners saying that they recall that Northwest Point at some point in time, I interpret it closed off. The road wasn't there. Your access was a little bit different. I guess I got 2 questions. Is that true? And then if so, when was
it was. It was just a mile road. And by the way, when you coming down Northwest Point, but you branch off and you go Old Bush, Old Bush Road, Rose Garden now.
Right.
That was also a mile road, but wide enough for 2 cars, but one had to stop so the other one could pass.
Yeah.
And then when Well, now West Bay Library was used as a school.
Yeah.
No, the town hall was used as a school, and the first governor, we call it governor, but used to call it in those days administrators.
Commissioner
John Cumba. He built that Rose Garden Road, and I think he had something to do with the road in Northwest Point. No, John Cumba was the administrator when I was in school, so that's nearly 100 years ago. But these memories, I hope I still would have as I get older, and so is Miss Eula and Reba, and I hope we'll still have these memories, because they're good memories, even though we had to battle mosquitoes, and school started in the morning and finished by 2 o'clock. And sometimes the mosquitoes were so thick, we used to have to wear what we call, in those days we call it a jacket. It was a long sleeve over our uniforms. And those days we were strict with our uniforms. We were strict with our nails and ears and stuff like that. We had to go clean, and we were clean. We had to. And
excuse me, since you're talking about the uniforms, what was the that's West Bay Primary you're going, or West Bay School?
Primary was navy blue, sort of jumper type, and the girls were navy blue with a white blouse. And don't ask now if the sleeves of those blouses never had to be peeked out, huh? You know what I mean? Pressed that you could see the seams in it. And then the skirts were pleated from the waist to your knee, and they had to be like an accordion, pleated nicely.
I think that's how Dwayne prefers them also. So,
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And the boys wore similar, and it was no short pants. It was long pants, even though it was a lot of heat. Yeah. But
so just like navy blue and white.
Good memories.
So navy blue. Sorry. So navy blue for the boys. Navy blue and white also.
No, they were khaki.
Okay.
Khaki and white. Ours were navy blue and white. And when you came to school, well, I guess you really can't do it now because of the quantity of the children. But when we came to school, we had to line up, and the teachers inspect. My teachers were Miss Genevieve Bodden, Miss Iris Bodden, her sister, and then our head teacher at that time was Miss Range, and she was so strict, so was Miss Genevieve. You had to line up. They inspected your fingernails, your ears, and your teeth. We had visit from dentists once every three months. And the first dentist I remember was Dr. Adlin, the late Dr. Adlin. God rest his soul. Good dentist, excellent dentist.
Big hands,
and he understood us. He understood us because he was one of us. So, like I said, I could go on because it's their memories. It is good memories. But I wish that today some parents would take the time and explain to their children, grandchildren, how they were brought up. I explain these things to my son, to my nieces, and my nephew. They sometimes laugh. They say, really, really, Shirlena? You really? And, but they appreciate it because they know now who's cousin, who's not cousin, and, that sort of thing. So anyway, I thank you guys very much for listening to me. like I said, I could go
Well,
on
thank
and
you,
go
ma'am.
on
Thank you.
because it is very interesting, and I hope we'll get it across to the schools.
Well, we appreciate you listening and sharing. Thank you very much.
Thanks, and thanks for that, your contribution.
Exactly.
You're most welcome, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, too.
Okay, thanks, ma'am.
All right, well, I'll keep holding Ray's hand as he walks. But we're going to go to another caller.
Not when he's wearing
All right.
lace, though.
Thank you, ma'am, as we go to the next. Good afternoon, welcome. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Yeah, Christian. Wasn't from West Bay, but I used to teach down there back in 65, 66. And there's some things I remember, like when you say we're Farden Drive, I think a road before that. And there is when you talk about when they gave it the name.
Or when they opened it, when it was like, because I think it was like a path before, or
there was a. You tell us your recollection, and we'll share some things that we think we know.
No, I think you could drive there. Because when you left where Foster's supermarket is now, and turn now, I think I remember was called North East Town.
No, that would be further south.
They're not joining it?
Mm-mm.
Where you turn down with the Farden Drive.
Yeah.
And then as you get further down, you turn left down where Mr. Lee Smith house was.
That would be Elizabeth Street.
There's Elizabeth Street there.
Mm-hmm. And then prior to that, be Hydesville.
Prentice Power, you got a house further down too. As far as I recall, you could drive right down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, because a lot of streets in Cayman didn't have names.
Right, but it didn't go all the way through. It stopped probably halfway down, I would say. A good ways before the bad corner.
No, I think it went right through from back in 65.
No, sir.
Recall. Oh, okay.
He said he left some pieces he toes down that road so he would know. But he don't want to tell us that story.
What you were saying, sir? No pay.
I know what in the center of West Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when you tried to go Northwest Point.
Mm-hmm.
But the first real house there was by Uncle Ernest. He used to rent a pink lady Jeep back in 65, 66.
Mm-hmm.
And right on the south side of his house, right bordering the fence was a church.
Yeah. No, but do you remember when Captain Ernest got his monkey?
That was about that time because I used to stay down in the house when I was teaching.
Okay.
And 64, 65, he got that monkey down there.
Was that from? Is that from Honduras? Where did he get that from?
I think it was around Honduras. Yeah, but
they were vicious too.
The Carter and all this come down from Honduras, bringing the plantains and everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mr. Wilford. And I remember Mr. Wilford, right, terrible. I used to tease him, you could mock him, imitate his voice so much. Huh?
Mm. You see, there are things that I think sometimes, and as I was listening to you, and I was looking at some of the exchanges with some of our listeners, and then some of the calls during the breaks, I shared earlier, the things that we recall versus the things that are recorded. The recorded things are not always as accurate as we would like them to be. The things that we would recall, sadly, equally.
Yeah, they both have their merits and their faults.
There's some gaps in it.
Yeah.
But thank you, sir, for sharing that. Please, to stay on the... We want to stay on the left or the right of Miss Susan? Because we got a break to take. All right, when we come back, we'll continue our calls, 949-8837 or 949-6990.
You be messing with Susan too much. I be watching some of the other shows. You be messing with Susan too much, eh? Eh, Susan?
Don't be using that word.
It's true.
Next thing you say, I'll be fooling with Susan. No, she's over there and she's doing her thing, man. We'll pause. We'll
yeah, there's a glass.
When we come back.
It's bulletproof, though.
Stay tuned.
There are plenty of reasons to be a Logic customer. There's lightning-fast internet connectivity. There's the great overall customer experience. And now, you can improve your Wi-Fi connectivity with Logic Boost Wi-Fi for free. With Boost, you can extend your freedom to stream, game, and download seamlessly anywhere in your home, like your patio or your underground lair if you have one. Sign up now for any Logic Bundle package and get free Boost Wi-Fi for a limited time. Visit logic.ky for details.
Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 a.m. for The Business Buzz with Sabrina Turner. Brought to you in part by insurance agents Michael Webster and Denise Brown from Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in life and property insurance. Don't take chances with your family's future.
Always separate debris from household garbage after a hurricane hits. Debris includes roofing materials, downed tree branches, and metals. All items of debris must be placed in separate piles to the front of the property or at a side that is easily accessible to collection trucks. Debris must be placed in a location that will not cause obstruction to roadways or come in contact with electrical lines. For more post-hurricane waste management tips, visit the DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
JN Money Transfer, in association with Roma United Sports Club, present the official Jamaica Independence celebrations on Friday, August 2nd. Daytime activities take place on Cardinal Avenue from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. with the best Jamaican food, arts and craft display, free sampling and free health checks. Don't miss the free lunch hour concert, plus lots of prizes and giveaways. Nighttime concert over at Crown Square on Eastern Avenue, featuring international reggae and dancehall superstar Wayne Marshall, alongside Paul Train, Dream Chasers dancers, plus lots of local performers. Come participate in the Kids Talent Contest, Best Dress Competition, Dance Contest, and Hot Wings Eating Contest. Music by DJ Marcus. Come out early to win a 40-inch TV, plus lots of giveaways and prizes. Admission is free. Sponsored by Popeyes, Best Dressed Chicken, Magnum, People's Choice Grocery, Superior Auto, Ideas Marketing, Kmart Hair and Beauty Supply, Danny's Auto, Breeze FM, and Radio Cayman.
Talk Today, the most listened to call-in program in Cayman, airs Monday through Friday, 12:15 till 2:30 p.m. Listeners are encouraged to call in and share their constructive thoughts and ideas on current issues concerning the Cayman Islands and beyond.
Talk Today is proudly brought to you by Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy located in Countryside Shopping Village. Savannah Pharmacy, just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
How would you describe Wha Ah Sayin?
A language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Okay, I like that definition. Now let's get back to the show.
Wha Ah Sayin?
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And for those of you who are sharing so much with us offline, I guess, the calls during the breaks, the messages, they're just for, hey, thank you very much. And maybe some of you will be inclined to share some of the things.
You want to tell us people what this is supposed to be and what it is now?
Okay.
Remind
so as we go to our phones, thank you for sharing. Just a quick reminder, we had scheduled a show. Ray has done, as he usually does, found tons and tons of material. We had our guest schedule, Mr. Steve, and he was instrumental in putting some of the stuff together, but he had to be called away to the court, so we're not going to focus exclusively on Mr. Willie because we don't want to, not do it properly. And as many of you know, despite, as Mr. Steve says, being before the courts now as a lawyer for, 50, 60 years?
That Mr. Steve hasn't been called off the court. As in,
he's an attorney
not
practicing before the courts, so he has to go tend to our case. Thank you for that. She also got a job thing somebody shared, but we got some calls. Let's go to our phones, right?
Yes.
Hey, welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling again.
Afternoon again. Oh.
Well, okay. I can give one a little bit of history.
Okay.
What do you think I learned to sew off of?
I think it was a singer?
Chicken feed sack. That's why it becomes so good, because it was kind of hard to get the needle through it. But we couldn't go and buy it like where we buy from Super Stitch and Case Fabric. We were grateful to get those chicken feed sacks, and that's what I learned. Just sewed all the clothes. And actually, I made my first jacket for school out of a chicken feed sack.
Wow.
So I got history behind my work. Enough fancy stuff I started with. I started with the poor stuff. Now today, by learning how to sew from that stuff, I'm going to compete in the world's biggest competition for designers. So you can put that in your history book.
Yeah, that's the West Bay Invitational?
Well, yes, I'm a West Bay, yes. But I got to give Georgetown credit, too, because I beat them up.
Georgetown?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, bye. I just want you guys to know that chicken feed sack was valued to us those days.
True.
We couldn't go and buy the stuff from Superstitch and get the pretty glamour stuff. No, and we had this little cotton lace, but that's what I learned to sew from on my hand.
If
and
I
the
can-
old foot machine.
What sort of dates you talking about that chicken feed thing? Would that be?
That was in the
50s?
60s because I born 54.
Okay.
And that was in the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Thanks,
it was
ma'am.
in the 60s. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. I go.
Thank
so
you.
I'm trying to leave my house.
Yeah,
Bye.
you go ahead. All right. With that, Miss Susan going to patch us to the other caller. And good afternoon. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Sterling,
Oh, hi. Hey, thanks for calling us back again, ma'am. Thank you.
listen to me. I gotta get this thing straight about this meat market that was down in our corner down there. It was Mr. Boswell. He had a little shop. Okay, he had a little shop. You see where the church got their garage on the side there?
Right. And while you're clarifying that, I was going to go earlier, but you can probably help us with it now. Someone wanted to confirm that this meat market that we're talking about, that's separate from where we used to butcher the turtles. They on just
Oh yeah. Oh
Right,
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah. They used to butcher up on top of the Miller Road now.
right at the end of
Across from Mr. Printer's shop.
right.
They used to have a market there. It's just cement somewhere around there.
Yep, that's.
I think there's some cement. I hadn't been there for a while, but I think it's just some cement
there's
there.
a house there.
That on that side, no, listen to me now. About this meat market that Mr. Borden, I got a house from Manners, so I got to say Mr. Borden, right? They talked about this meat market that was around by the church area, or by Bill Fire shop. No. It was in the same area of where you see the Church of God have their garage for their bus.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
And the grape trees was there. So now there was Mr. Boswell. That was the old man, Mr. Boswell. Now he had a little shop. He used to have the same items: the flour, the cornmeal, and you name it, everything else. But now, Mr. John Boswell, now his son. Remember, he had a meat market in town, up on Shaden Road. Remember that?
I want to say I don't really remember.
No, where his niece and her husband.
That was Mary Street.
Tomlinson.
Would that be Mary Street?
No.
No.
No. Oh God, my God.
We're getting lost. Tree Westbury's getting lost in West Bay.
No.
I mean, in town.
I'm not lost. No, I know where I am.
Lost in town. I mean.
Listen to me. Mr. Boswell, Mr. John Boswell.
Right.
Remember him? He had this meat market. It was on Shaden Road. You know where they got the Chinese shop and all that stuff there? No, you used to have the ice cream parlor and all that stuff. Used to be in that building.
Right.
That is where Mr. John Boswell had his meat market.
Okay, got you now.
No, listen good now. The cows were butchered by his father's little shop, by the big grape trees. Hello? And they would take the beef to this market. But I'm talking too loud over.
No, I don't think so.
Come on, brother, look at me now.
Oh, no, he's excited.
Listen to me. I got a picture of my brother there that used to be the butcher at 10 years old. My late brother.
Oh,
right?
yes, ma'am.
I got a picture of him here that if you, how it is positioned, every move you move, his eyes is following you.
Wow.
So listen good to me now. I remember that part about the meat market. When I turned that way, I could see him because I was back on talking that. But listen good to me. Rest in peace, Bobo. Rest in peace. So he learned to be a butcher at 10 years old. He learned through Mr. Wayland Bush. You remember him? You remember him?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Wayland.
Yeah. But he was my double cousin because he was married to my aunt, my father's sister, and then he was my mother's cousin. So his grandfather and my grandfather were two brothers.
Okay.
My grandfather was Robert McKinley Bush, my mother's father, and his grandfather was Doddridge Bush.
It's Doddridge.
Okay?
Right.
Doddridge. Okay. So Mick was 10 years old. He learned to butcher from Wayland, our cousin. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there on was when he became a butcher at 10 years old. So he was who used to be the meat man from Mr. John Bothwell. He was doing the butchering out there on the bay, out on the bay, by them great trees, carried the beef to town, and he was doing all these special cuts from them times there.
Okay.
So, that was where the meat market was. It wasn't nowhere near Mr. Willie Franklin shop, and it wasn't that close to the church.
Right.
Okay. And listen, another thing. Somebody say about the back road. It was no road that way, person. It was just a little narrow road.
Right.
Okay? Because you were using this other road, by the graveyard and all like that, Mr. Lewin shop and all that, going straight down all them other shops. You used to use that the most because you had a little narrow road,
Mm-hmm.
After a while, this is why it would change over. This is why Mr. Willis Farrington's shop was moved over to the other end now, down by the four-way, because they had this road you could drive to that end. But I still cannot remember whether that was burnt or whether they had knocked it down. Okay?
Right.
The old shop.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you. You've not only added a lot of color to it, but thank you so much, ma'am. And respectfully, we want to go to this other caller before we go to our news. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks so much for calling. And I'm learning, but I'm also laughing a lot. All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Dwayne, if you allow me to speak about 3 different things.
Can we put it to vote? Go right ahead, man. Go right ahead.
First, we don't see nothing change in the issue of Mr. Adam resident about the easement, the road.
Mm-hmm.
And the commissioner of police promised.
Yeah. Your phone, I hopefully you're not, hopefully we're not offending you, but it's challenging to follow you with the phone. Is it my earphones or
No.
he's up and down and I can't hear you, sir. I heard the first bit, but anyway, you wanted permission to 3 issues. The Adam second. I don't know. What do you think? All right.
I hope we see some solution soon, because it's been 3 years now and no solution. And this man he think himself. I don't know his name, Zola. I don't know what his name, but he think himself because he American. He's above the law.
Yeah.
And
but maybe Monday. Maybe that's because I have a chance. Yeah, sir. Would you allow me ask you touch base with us on Monday? See how we can. And perfect time for the news. Now, Ray, I say this because there are a couple of things.
Was Willie Farrington Drive had a right of way on it?
A right of way.
Just checking.
Right. And the interesting part is that with any society, any culture, any aspect of history, like the old westerns, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are bits and pieces that we gloss over, some that we try to avoid and ignore. There are things that we wish we could recall and the like. And the more that we look at our history, we probably don't appreciate a lot of the good stuff. We probably don't even realize how we have easily...
Time changes stuff too.
Exactly.
Things, good old days. I remember my aunt was saying, everybody saying, came on the good old days, and she was born in the 30s, and she was like, good old days? I don't want to go back to that, like kerosene oil and mosquitoes and all that stuff.
But I think it's perspective. So when we come back from the break, we invite you to share with us as you wish on this whole issue. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio K-Man's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Cayman Bay will join landmarks around the world, from Romania's Triumphal Arch in Bucharest, Mexico's Palacio de Bellas Artes, to light up red for inclusion. It's part of the Special Olympics Revolution. Is Inclusion 5-year campaign to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the organization, inspiring action and shining a spotlight on the positive outcomes that are seen when people with and without intellectual disabilities are able to work, play, and lead in life together. Be sure to stop by Cayman Bay this Saturday night at 7 p.m. to check it out and share your pictures with the hashtag Inclusion Revolution. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Extremely hot weather has started to hit most of the United States, with temperatures set to peak over the weekend, meteorologists say. The heat wave could affect about 200 million people in major cities like New York, Washington, and Boston in the East Coast, and the Midwest region too. In some places, temperatures could be close to or exceed 100 Fahrenheit or 38 Celsius. Parts of Canada are also being hit. A British-flagged oil tanker has been seized in the Gulf by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, Iran media say. The owners of the Stena Impero, which was bound for Saudi Arabia, say they have been made unable to contact the vessel and it's heading north towards Iran. The company says there are 23 personnel on board. And Russia's sports ministry has refused to include cricket on its register of officially recognized sports. The order was issued on July 15th, the day after England's dramatic Cricket World Cup final win over New Zealand. Among the sports officially recognized in Russia are petanque, drafts, and mini golf. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
See Wha Ah Sayin is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM. See Wha Ah Sayin?
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And I think as I have the opportunity now to continue in this sort of seat next to a good friend, Ray Banker, it reminds me of how important and how easy, almost in the same breath, it is to overlook. So much of us. For those who are listening and joining, we will come back to you in a full sort of disclosure and information sharing. A proper show highlighting
good time.
Mr. Willie Farrington, and I think it's going to be expanded as we expand more with the intent to not just educate and inform, but to entertain and enlighten us
and please people.
Yeah, and to ensure. Oh boy, those of you know Ray well. Now, a quick couple of things. Where was my notes? Where you got me? Okay, so. Couple of things from our listeners. We're going to share. Asking you.
What about this Lewin? Is it the Lewin Parsons shop? You want to? We need to clear that up.
We do.
Do we?
We are bulldozer. We're not clearing up nothing. What is development? We clean up.
It's probably next to the church. Anyway,
I want to maybe ask two things of our listeners again about a number of the things that are being shared with us. Mm-hmm. As we've said to our listeners, in the vein of trying to highlight how easy it is to gloss over and sometimes to not just inadvertently but maybe sometimes deliberately skew certain things that happen in our history.
Course, yeah.
And for instance, here's someone who sent us this joke about Can we share that joke, Ray?
Yeah, go ahead. You tell it.
So the lady, should I say it as the caller sent it to us? The lady goes to Mrs. Spurgeon's shop. But I've heard it before, going to another shop. Right? So the lady goes to the shop and she buys.
In this case, it's Mr. Spurgeon's shop.
Right. So this person says, the version of the story, the joke is the woman goes to Mr. Spurgeon's shop, buys a pair of stockings, but bright and early the next morning, she brings them back to Mr. Spurgeon and she says, what's it? The bags, he says, here, take these back.
Yeah, I'm bringing these back and he asks her, what's the matter? Did they not live up to your expectations?
What she said? Yeah, that one. So you heard it before. He said, what? Expectation?
Expectation? Live up to my expectation? Didn't even live up. What?
They didn't come up to
my knee.
and there are jokes like that.
I'm pretty sure I messed that up.
No, I probably helped you with it.
Well, we know you could do that.
And then there's a job ad that someone has shared with us, so we'll refer to that. But Susan Patson, through a call.
Come up to your expectation.
Yeah, they didn't come up to my knee.
My expectation, come up to my expectation.
All right, let's go to the phones. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miss Better, ma'am. Well, you making somebody's day?
I'm going to just call. I know you say you're going to go into more details concerning the political side of Mr. Willie Farrington, but
when we do the show properly, that Mr. Steve, and we can do all the other things that we had in mind,
the clips and everything.
Yeah, so that.
But I'd just like to share a little bit about the what used to be called Brooklyn Bridge, the upper part,
right?
Of the Willie Farrington Drive now, and I am only speaking from the perspective of a young child walking along there. I guess I must have been about 7 years old. And, we lived on Elizabeth Street. But that was a place that we did not really go to often. However, there was this one day that I was invited by the housekeeper of my next-door neighbor to go with her into the Sound to buy some fish. So now that was a big expedition, right?
Yeah.
For a little girl like that, and my mother allowed me to go.
How old?
And
7.
I would say I must have been 7 or 8, the most.
Yes.
Now, we had to walk, of course, and we went early in the morning. And I do not remember all of the details, but this much I remember, and I will.
Sorry, this muchness?
I said this much I remember.
You see,
I will share with
she must be from
give you
Georgetown.
some idea about what the road was like.
Oh, right.
As I said, Sterling especially, have you ever heard it called Brooklyn Bridge?
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on. And where is this Brooklyn Bridge now? Where would that be now?
That is the upper part from where Elizabeth Street comes on to Willie Farrington Drive.
Okay.
Then it would be going into the Mount Pleasant, Batabano area.
Oh, terrible area. Yeah.
No, listen, why? I remember it being an area, and I guess this is why it got the name Brooklyn Bridge. It was an area that flooded during the rain. Okay, and I think that is why, you were not able to use it all of the time. But this morning, and I'm speaking about, I remember the ground was soggy. But the thing that struck me most was the trees came together. The tops of the trees came together, so it was very dark. Even though it was a sunny day.
Yep.
It like both the trees from both sides came together at the top, and that is what I distinctly remember more than anything else. How dark it was, and I remember the lady saying to me, she said, "Betty, you have to be careful how you step, because when I looked down, the rocks." They were not rocks that could turn over. They were rocks that were embedded into the soil. And I remember it was slightly soggy, like I said, but these rocks were protruding upwards, and you had to be careful where you stepped. You had to kind of really look down, at where you were going. And I remember saying, oh, my goodness, this is so exciting. It was something different for me, because I used to walk of course, we used to walk everywhere. And we used to walk from Elizabeth Street out on, like the other lady said, out on the bay. that was marl, that was white marl, at least when I was walking it.
Mm-hmm.
So this was so different. And we went into town, must have bought the fish. But I don't remember anything else about that trip except the excitement of me going there and what I have just described to you. But that was how it was.
So then would it be like a footpath most of the road?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or bigger than?
Nothing else. I mean, I don't even think we could have ridden a bicycle there, to be honest. I think we would have had to carry it because those rocks.
And I wonder if that's where you're talking was like sort of in front of Jim and Powell's, maybe?
Yes, in that area.
Yeah. Do you remember that shaded area, how the trees were, well, I would say, knitted together, and the canopy that was formed? Was it low-lying? Even as a child, you may have to have sort of bent over, bent down in order to get underneath in some spots, or...
No, I didn't remember it like that. We could walk straight up. But, I mean, it might have been that way earlier if you have heard that.
Well, no, I remember.
I'm talking now about 58-ish.
Right. Well,
57, 58, or 59.
Yeah. I remember coming, let's say you're coming from the Sound area and you're going across what is now the beginning part of Willa Farrington Drive before you get into the S Bend, so to speak. So those houses to what would be the west kind of side of it. When you're making the
westernmost side.
Yeah, the westernmost side. When you come in there, and the good lady that used to live on the corner there, the canopy was lower to the ground, and you have to bend. Even as a small child, you would bend down in some spots before you could stand back up and walk.
I honestly don't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the only time I ever remember going there, to be honest.
Right.
Because we did most of our things out on bay.
On the bay, yeah.
But this was something so different. I was going into the Sound to get fish with her. So that's the only description that I can give you, and I don't know if other people can volunteer their own description.
And the reason why I appreciate sharing, so I'm hoping that people understand that you're talking 40 years ago. Ish that the road was
open to cars,
right? And that's not a long time ago, but how significant
was that road really needed? I mean, you think?
Well, Ms. Bentley, that was a significant undertaking for the country to have that sort of access from the part of West Bay into the other part.
Yeah, you see, we used to have to go through grass pieces now. If we were to have gone up, we used to go to a lady who used to sew up there, but that was not too far from where Elizabeth Street was. And at the beginning of that, it wasn't this darkness and stuff. I don't know if you all remember Mr. Sam, we call him Sam Gunner. Shop was, right? And then they lived on the beginning of what is now Willa Farrington Drive. Okay, after it just leaves from Elizabeth Street. There were houses there, and that was not too dark or anything. It was when you got further up.
Further in.
Jimmy's house is now.
Right.
That was where it was so different. But like if we went to Hydeville, because there was another seamstress there, we would have to go from our house to grass pieces and go on the go on the wires and all like that, a barbed wire manual to get to them, So the connection now from where Elizabeth Street comes back out to where opposite of Foster's, the main road in West Bay, that wasn't really open as far as I remember. I hope I'm not saying something that my memory is failing and I'm just not remembering.
So you're saying it just stopped at Elizabeth Street?
It went just a little bit beyond that, I think.
Yes. It stopped at Elizabeth Street, as far as I remember. Or if it wasn't very distinct.
Just grass piece.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is why, as you share that and you recall, as you said, the memory for some very vivid and probably very accurate, but for others, it may not as be, and more of us that are able to share these things, we can see the importance,
Can you remember a date for the opening of Villa Farrington? Just so I can get my turtle meat.
No, I don't remember that, but that should be in the that should definitely be in the legislative assembly, because they would have done something on that in some of the records
or something.
Yeah.
No, we can definitely find it.
No, we can find it. We're just trying to see how
I got a lot of turtle meat bet on it. Dwayne saying 7-7 to.
No, I didn't say 7-7. No, you don't put anything else, Mom, you want to share?
No, I just wanted to speak about that. I could speak about a lot of other things, but that's
Mom.
We gotta come to show. We gotta come to see you to talk about some of them other stuff. Okay.
No. Okay. All right. Whatever.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you.
All right. Good talking to you.
Sorry, Miss Susan. I wasn't listening to what you were saying. A break. Okay. Final little break, and then when we come back, more Ray.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
If you're a concerned parent, have regular, non-judgmental conversations with your child or teen about drug and alcohol use. Talk to them about the dangers of using drugs and alcohol, using age-appropriate explanations. Explain why you don't want them to use drugs. Most importantly, believe in your own power to help your child or teen avoid using drugs and alcohol. For more information on how to have the conversation about drugs and alcohol, visit us at www.ndc.ky. This message is brought to you by Radio Cayman and the National Drug Council.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
Cayman is going to Carifesta 2019 this summer. Get a sneak peek preview of all performances we'll be doing in Trinidad. 2 weekends only at the Hartwell Theatre. Music and dance shows on Saturday the 20th of July and Sunday the 21st of July. The touching play, Downside Up, written by Frank McPhail on Saturday, July 27th and Sunday, July 28th. Tickets are just $25 per person per show. Purchase at Foster's Airport and Strand, Funky Tangs, Healthcare Pharmacy Grand Harbor, the CNCF office, and online at eventpro.ky.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Meet the world with Puritan professional launderers and dry cleaners. Call 949-7104 for opening hours at Puritan's Countryside Savannah, Elgin Avenue besides Off the Peg, and 337 Eastern Avenue. Drive through, rain or shine. Ask about Puritan's ongoing discounts plus free pickup and delivery. Call 949-7104. Puritan's 949-7104.
Hey Cayman, this is Caitlin Tyson, your Miss Cayman Islands Universe 2018. It's that time again, so come out and meet your favorite contestants at this year's sashing ceremony. Each of the ladies will have the chance to connect with you and share their personal stories featuring their sponsors. Friday, the 26th, starting at 6:30 p.m. at Grand Old House. Admission is free. We'll be unveiling all of this year's sponsors for the 2019 Miss Cayman Islands Universe contestants. Mix, mingle, and show your support for your district. We hope to see you there.
Miss Susan, she caught us out. All right, jump straight back into it with Ray Banker.
She really did that?
She really did that. No, Miss Susan. I hope we weren't doing anything that we wasn't supposed to be doing. Well, thank you all very much for joining us, and really respect and recognize how important it is to be able to not just showcase, but to invest heavily in research, recall, and in many cases, being able to, regurgitate, as it were, another word that you like?
A sour belch?
Ray Banker. As we look at the 10 minutes or so of a program, would it be inappropriate to ask? We have a list of the programs for the remaining of the year, and we'll probably make that one adjustment. But to the listeners, if you want us to do topics and certain things, just suggest it to us.
Not just Women in Fosters.
No. You can check us in Kirks too.
You can call in and say it here. You know what I would like? I would like to get those ones that always see me and say, I don't call in, but I'll be listening all the time.
Yeah.
I would love for one of them that's almost got the phone in the hand and you're, I'm going to call this time.
There's a show.
And Brackers.
Yeah.
East End is not just a West Bay show. Yeah. Although most of the time it turns out to be that way.
Well, I think for people to get the gist of it too, it is structured on a topic, and then we try to reach out to be able to add a human element to it, a contemporary human element.
And it is, that's what a lot of our experiences are, like in West Bay.
Right.
So it kind of becomes that way. But we would love, like we had Mr. Alvin the last time.
Yeah. And for those who are still a bit fearful of coming on the show, I can understand. Sit next to Ray. But it's
sitting next to Dwayne and all that lace stuff. And you remember the poodle skirt he used to have, and then the
pleated skirt. A poodle?
The poodle first. You had the big old skirts with the poodle thing on it.
Somebody call it.
Now you see we got the cameras in there. He don't do it as much. It's still, if you look under the desk, but you don't want to look under the desk. You just got to be aware that under the desk you don't look under.
Boy, I don't know why I let you get away with this today.
Topics. Yeah, you should don't be scared to call in and share. And
all right. Let's.
Oh yeah. And then also, if you do miss us, if you would for some reason want to hear the rest of the show, you can go on YouTube.
All right.
Yes.
But let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome.
Poodle skirt.
Thank you for calling. Hi. Good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon.
How are you, man?
I'm blessed. I'm one of these guys that almost called in, but actually decided to.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, boy. Anyway, I won't say that now.
So I gotta go now because I can't talk.
Okay.
So you called to say that you're not call. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.
And I hope I get a custard talk cornbread soon.
He's gone. He really gone.
No. You heard about Susan calling? Yeah. Boy.
He was working, I guess.
Yeah, he was working. But honestly, though, Ray,
he used that now. Now, suppose he blocked somebody now that really were calling for the first time.
He
blocked them.
949-8037. 949.
What you have been listening to is an abbreviated show. We started off as Mr. Willie Farrington. Yeah. Right. So and then we're doing abbreviated. So we've taken a detour down Mr. Willie Farrington Drive.
Right. And the significance of some of the things that have transpired here. And if there is...
We were talking Paddy. Do you think that Paddy was a whole show on Paddy?
No.
I see. Hold on. Susan, you remember that time about body? Names of body. That one you say, you can do 2.5 hours on body, names about a body. I don't think so, I don't think so. You remember that?
Yeah.
And we could have done a second show.
Right.
So well, Paddy's call in if you think Paddy's can. I could pull that off.
You could pull it off. What I will say is that the topics, like you go through the list of topics and we see things, and some of them are, as you said, a 10-part minute series.
Yeah.
And some we would think, is there 5 minutes of material? With your research acumen and your determination, dedication, you see so much of this stuff being important. The showing breadfruit, for instance, the comments that people go, well, could you really do? How do you do a show on breadfruit?
Yeah, that was
what is so significant is
one
that
could have done 3 shows.
Yeah. Is it okay to repeat back that we're told the breadfruit was in this jurisdiction at this particular time? Well, probably came, but we found.
Yeah, during that show, we thought it was.
I remember the date now.
Oh, yeah. 18 something, I guess.
But we found it 10 years earlier.
Yeah.
Right? And whereas one of our officials.
And that's all we got to say.
Yeah, exactly. We can't say no more. But whereas our official sort of document saying it probably came here by this way, when in fact the man himself brought
and
it.
then why and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
brought it here. Why he brought it here?
No, why it was missing.
Yeah,
why we don't know.
All
about it.
And he's actually. Should we say who the man is?
I might get shot for it.
Yeah, he's actually on land having dinner with our people while his vessels are being prepared. I'm saying too much now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is going to come out in the future.
Okay,
reference.
some other we want to do a BRAC show for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We've been trying to do
once
that
Miss Paulette approves, the
Our biggest problem is where to start.
Yeah.
Because you start one way, you would offend this one, and we can't just do like one show on all the BRAC. So it has to be like the creek, water in place, blah blah blah.
So
blah,
once
blah,
the BRAC
blah,
goes
blah,
independent, Miss Paulette becomes ambassador. She upstairs. She's gonna.
I hear the screaming. Oh, footsteps! Heavy footsteps coming.
Oh man, but what I think though that it is so.
These
evident,
are all Radio Cayman jokes.
Yeah. What is so important, though, Ray, is that the people in this country, the Caymanians who have generational links, probably as a people,
and people who, no, to be fair, and people who have just come to the island. New to the island, first generation. We get a lot of those listeners.
No. What I'm saying is, and I say this not to be disrespectful or to disrespect.
It's just naturally that you're disrespectful.
Caymanians, generational, Caymanians.
Yeah.
We sometimes overlook so easily. And
I think that's happening with the show. They're going, they kind of spurring their...
and just simple little things, a comment, how a word was used, the fact that the word isn't being used. Okay, it was a challenge to spell the word for someone. The fact that particular word was a colloquialism may have been said one way in, say, West Bay, different in Georgetown, different in Bordentown, and so on.
It's funny, I was on Facebook, and somebody posted, Jackson posted on the site Old Cayman site, and they brought up Botnu. Like they've been living in the States for so long, and they brought up Botnu.
Yeah.
And that just took me back to the first show and the discussion that spawned this whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, for those who don't know, that's how the show came about. Ray and I having a conversation, and it may be spelt in the way it is.
All the while I was thinking of the meaning. For the longest time, I was trying to define, and Dream just say no, how it was pronounced, Botnu, as opposed to Badabanu, and then the whole road. And you're supposed to have that petition going, remember?
Yeah, actually.
To change the road back to Botnu.
Can a civil servant form a petition? This is something that and it's not...
civil servant?
Yeah, apparently I am.
Civil and servant? And no, two of them words do not fit.
I can't say I'm a civil.
None of them.
I'm probably not civil.
And then servant.
But I have a servant leader heart.
I think one time you got some water for me.
Yeah. But it wasn't clean. And it was used.
Yeah, the cup was like... never mind.
But you know what? I should maybe orchestrate that petition.
You need to do it, but no.
The reason, though.
You need to find out how to spell it. How are you going to change it, though?
Well, the Neuro-Cambridge trained linguists share that it is possible for it to be spelled this way, but pronounced to be reflective of the vernacular.
Yeah, whatever that. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
In Cambridge, so
word
it's correct.
It a little better on the position before you send that.
And then, secondly,
right.
Is it important?
It is important. We're not talking about it right now.
Yeah.
We're having a discussion. Botnu, the amount of people who live in Botnu, or the people who are from that area, call it that, Botnu.
Yeah. Oh.
And it's Caymanizing, Indian, I think, Spanish Indian word.
So not Taino specifically, right? In this case, like hammock and other stuff.
I think it's Taino.
Is it Taino?
Like I said, the research we did for it way back when, Badabanu, it only shows up in Cuba, like Badabanu, the Gulf of Badabanu. And I think I found it meant the chief's land.
Mm-hmm.
It might mean that.
And then
I saved that.
Yeah. And then
it came to Cayman because I think people in the area got ties to Cuba and Isle of Pines, because it's where you go to the mainland, Cuba, in order to get to Isle of Pines. So that's where they get the Badabanu from. Or we thinking, most likely.
Yep.
And so it's been transferred to West Bay, and then it may have been bastardized from other people research. No, to the corals. Turtle crawl.
Oh, no, that is offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is... Oh, yeah.
So we're not... The meaning of it, we don't think
so
it's necessarily...
you're thinking if
I kind of think I saw... last research, like I said, I want to revisit it.
Yeah.
That was another show, revisiting Badabanu.
All right.
You following this, Susan?
Yeah, she
Yeah, it's I kind of. We've got one indication, like, because Barbanu area was turtle crawls, the crawls, Kraals, and then that was another thing. That's how it was spelt in this book, where it was talking about the turtle crawls in this recipe, to do with this recipe, where they call this turtle, minced up turtle, Barbanu.
Oh my God!
So it's all kind of mishmash type of thing. And then I think it was Dave Martins that did the research, and he said he mashed them together and saying it was.
We see that kind of stuff needs to be just,
the crawls that turtle made. And then you got people walking down the road and all the websites saying it's Barbano's turtle tracks.
Oh my goodness, man.
So,
oh my goodness.
So if you don't question stuff, that's what happened. You perpetuate misinformation.
It's part of that social re-engineering exercise,
I guess.
All right. So next time we'll have it. And
over? We done?
Yeah.
Here I was thinking it was going to be so painful.
Can I be just maybe for a second ask all of us who live and work here, as we respect whatever our ancestry is, whether we only hear of recent, whether we've been here for a long time, embrace as much as you can.
Whether we're just here for a Facebook profile,
right? But let's look deeply, objectively, right? Willingly, and try to pursue as accurately as we can, so that when we look at Cayman, not just have a healthy respect for its history, heritage, its culture, and its ethos, but to understand that this little place has made such an incredible contribution to so much. I hope he doesn't mind. In a way, with for a second, the Veterans Association, when I have people like Mr. Loxley and the others, and for them to talk just from the spear of our people participating in wars and the fights.
Well, like I said, just from this headline right here, we have a Mr. Christian who was a World War II vet, right?
Exactly. Right, and this was something that's in our, daily newspaper.
Cayman at War is definitely one of my topics.
Yeah. And the things that you shared with us, some of the discoveries, there's so much out there.
Yeah.
And as a people around the globe, our people are still, we may not be in the millions, but for a country that only had thousands, as it were, to have been so, involved, embedded.
Yeah, seems almost like any topic you can find out. They say, I think the Filipinos and Jamaicans say no matter where you go, you always find a Jamaican and a Filipino. It's kind of like Caymanians are similar. Did I ever tell you that one about the Yangtze River?
No.
You remember that one?
Oh, now that you tell me, no, but again, see, I forgot this. So those are the reasons we do this. It is a lot. And Ray, thanks very much. Thanks for agreeing to abbreviate this somewhat. And we do, on behalf of Dr. Steve McPhail, extend his sincerest apologies for having to attend to a matter in court. But we know that was crucial, not just because it's his livelihood, but because his client needs him there probably just as much, maybe almost as much.
Lucky we didn't need him after this one.
As we wanted him here. But we will revisit it. We'll have you much more informed when we come back again and to present this show. Now, here, Mr. Willie served 55 years, in public life in his country. That's a long time for someone to give. He died, I think, at age 78.
77, I think.
No, 77, 78 when he passed away. And 55 of those were in public service. You know what? Draw your inferences. That is his grandson shared. He's a man that loved his country and was loved by his country. So maybe we can take a page. All right, Ray, thanks very much, man. And to Susan,
right, thank you.
Thanks for putting up with us. And to all of our listeners, thank you too for sharing.
And thanks for hanging in there today.
Yeah, take
thanks
pride.
For the calls.
Yeah, take pride in this country. It is a beautiful place. Whether you live in West Bay or West End, whether you're in East End, or you in Spot Bay, it really is a beautiful, beautiful place. Beautiful people. Those of us who come and live here, we work together. We can make it stronger. We can make it safer. You know what? If we don't do it together, we decide to be vitriolic and harbor a lot of angst and animosity and acrimony. You know what? It's not going to be any good. But if we do it in a spirit of love and unity and cooperation, even the politics, you know what? Until Monday, be blessed.
See what I said?
See what I saying?
See what I saying? It happening every third Friday on Talk Today.
Jointly produced by the National Museum and Radio Cayman. A language, history, and culture show. Remember, it's every third Friday on 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
Proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
See what I'm saying?
The voice of the Cayman Islands, Radio Cayman.
Shining down from above. We love our listeners.